We all like to receive gifts, especially practical ones. I'm wondering if you would agree with me if I said that we should take the assessment of our competencies as a very useful gift. If not, I hope that after watching this tutorial you will change your mind. Stay tuned. The aim of the 360-degree feedback is to support the development of the tested individual. Its name comes from the fact that the feedback for the respondent is given by the observers, who are people from their surroundings. The supervisor, co-workers and subordinates. Let's see. Adam's boss is Ian. The subordinate is Anna. And Adam often works with Michael. If Adam was being tested, then the others would observe him and provide feedback. It's possible to modify this study: 270-degree feedback or 180-degree when it is given only by some of the observers. For example, feedback is not given by the subordinates or only by the supervisor. The respondent in each of the variants conducts a self-assessment. Sometimes the word feedback is replaced with the term assessment. Our feedback is based on 5 points. Number 1. As a part of the study, the participants, both the respondent and the observers, have to indicate the presented case, a description of a situation reflecting the company reality, a type of response or action which is most typical of the tested person, as well as one which describes them least. Number 2. In order for feedback to be valuable, it is important for the people giving it to be carefully chosen. These should be individuals who've had a lot of interaction with the respondent and have worked together for at least 6 or 9 months. Number 3. Depending on the organization's decision, the observers are chosen by HR after consulting the supervisors and the respondents, or by the respondents themselves. Each of these solutions has its advantages. In the first case, when the observers are chosen by HR, the feedback is more balanced. When observers are picked by the respondents themselves, then the feedback is easier to accept. Even if it's not quite complete, it always gives information necessary to build a development plan. Number 4. The study results are anonymous and the assessed person receives them in an individual report. This report includes both the information on the respondent's average result released to a given competence, as well as the information regarding the range of the results received by people taking part in the study. For example, the average result was 45% and the results ranged from 20 to 75. Number 5. It applies both to the co-workers and to the subordinates. Feedback may not always be anonymous, as some employees have only one supervisor. Of course, it may happen that the study considers only one co-worker or one subordinate. In this case, individual consent is required. Why should we care about feedback at all? The concept of Johari window comes to its defense. Window A is the comfort zone, meaning that the person's knowledge about themselves and the observer's opinions are the same. As a part of the feedback, such compliant information becomes visible. However, feedback will also include content from window B, which will be surprising for the respondent. What's more, feedback will not include the content from window C, which can be considered unfair by the respondent. It is not easy to give feedback. However, it is easier to provide if it's anonymous. It is also difficult to receive feedback too. During the workshop, which is used to create individual development plan, the feedback reaches the respondent. Apart from the processes described in the Johari window concept, there are also three different perspectives that form in the respondent's mind. His own idea about himself, his competencies and the gaps in them. His own idea of how the feedback from others will look. And feedback from others. The report which the respondent and Adam gets includes the results as a percentage according to a particular competence divided into the results from the self-assessment, the result received from the supervisor, the co-worker's result and the subordinate's result. Each of these results is completed with a comment facilitating its interpretation. After analyzing the data and understanding the feedback, the participants are now clear about how they are seen. One more important comment here. This perception is of course subjective. The received feedback may be totally contradictory with the respondent's self-assessment. It does not change the fact that the feedback makes the respondent aware about how he is seen by his colleagues. By receiving feedback, the respondent makes an effort of planning the activities that are part of the individual development plan. This in turn will change the respondent's behavior and as a consequence, the way he is seen by colleagues. You can find the details about report construction and how to interpret it in a video tutorial entitled Different Kind of Competence Reports. Let's look once again at the benefits of giving and receiving feedback. Firstly, by receiving feedback from many perspectives, the respondents have the chance to check how their activities, behaviors are perceived by their workers, co-workers, subordinates. Secondly, on the basis of the received feedback, the respondents receive information which is necessary to improve their behavior and a way of communicating it. So it's in line with the competencies required of them in their position. Thirdly, by getting precise feedback about their own behavior, the respondents have the possibility to increase the awareness of their own incompetencies and plan growth. Remember, feedback is a great gift, which gives you a chance for perfection, To find out more about method of competency assessment in work context, check out our other video tutorials.